This week's top stories. Trump, not an initiate of the secret society. Newt Gingrich. Floating movable nuclear power plants. And nobody knows the identity of the 150 people killed by the U.S. in a drone attack in Somalia, with the Pentagon reporting that they have military drones over the U.S. FBI could force iPhone to turn on cameras and microphones, says Apple. We have a mind-controlled wheelchair. Scientists attempt to clone Ice Age lion after they discover the 12,000-year-old remains. And the strange beasts that live in solid rock deep underground. Hemp shielding in the Allura caves kept it from decay for 1,500 years. The charming Cobb house that was built for $250. And Google DeepMind Learning. The artificial intelligence beats the world's best Go player. And in health news, ginger destroys tumor in published study.
Welcome to Drunken Yogi News. Shit to pay attention to.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war. I'll be very blunt.
Trump, not an initiate of a secret society. This is where we're going to start this week's, guys. Newt Gingrich comes out on Fox News and says he is not an initiate. This is why the establishment is scared of Trump, because he is not a part of the secret society. Let's go to the clip.
And now they're faced with a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party, and it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society. And I think that they don't see him. They have no idea how to relate to him.
Now, to look into this a little bit more, please go to wearechange.com or .org. I apologize. He has videos of him confronting Newt Gingrich about his involvement in these said secret societies. He actually signs a picture of him at Bohemian Grove while telling Luke that Luke lives in Fantasyland. Let's move on. We've got the dumbest idea I've heard in a very long time. We have China to build nuclear power plants that float in the sea. They want them to be movable so they can float them around to the little islands that they've been creating in the South China Sea. They want to have it scheduled to be finished in 2019, and then I'm sure in 2020 we will be cleaning it up once something goes horribly wrong. I don't know. I'm not completely against nuclear power. I'm against the fact that all the nuclear power plants in the United States are like 100-year-old technology and should have been offline probably decades ago and re-updated, but they just keep failing and band-aids are applied and we keep moving on. So we'll watch this one because it just does not sound like a great idea after the whole Fukushima thing. Anyway, moving on. This is coming from the Intercept. Glenn Greenwald's. Oh no, they dropped it seems. Anyway, I will try to find an image I captured of this website and put it in there, but it goes on to say that there is a strike done by the United States in Somalia, which is not a war zone. We are not at war in Somalia, but we did drop bombs killing 150 people at a supposed pre-American attack graduation. They have not released the 150 people that we have killed, but they assure us that they are all terrorists. So this is weird, especially with this week Pentagon coming out with reports that they justify deployment of military spy drones over the U.S. The Pentagon has deployed spy drones to the U.S. territory for non-military missions. But the fight have been rare and lawful, according to the new report. The report by a Pentagon Inspector General made public under Freedom of Information Act request said spy drones on non-military missions have occurred fewer than 20 times between 2006 and 2015. So check one more box for conspiracy theories that were right since I started following this stuff. I was called insane back in 2009, 2010, saying that they had drones above us. But here we go, we've got a report. And I just want to show one more thing about this article, because these are the drones that they have over top of us. And they're called the Predator and the Reaper. Because those are the things that you want to have floating above your head with a military at the helm. Just watching, because they don't have bombs or guns on them or anything like that. They swear until a report comes out 10 years from now saying, yeah, we might have used a drone or two with a gun on it, and it was lawful, and we only used it every once in a while. So, Pentagon, get the Reapers out of the sky, please. And another screwed up government agency, the FBI, says Apple could force us to turn on the iPhone cameras and microphone. So this is going back to the San Bernardino phone situation. They are being forced to create an entire ghost image of their software, so then the FBI can have the keys to be able to unlock it. I've heard from multiple very, very well credited people like John McAfee that they said that they could unlock these phones. It's just they want to be able to unlock all phones. And now with this software that they're asking Apple to hand over, Apple is saying that they would just be able to turn on all of your phone microphones and cameras and being able to spy on them at an instant without you knowing. Now, I kind of find this weird because there's a story out a couple months ago about how hackers were doing this with people's laptops, taking creepy pictures of them through their laptop cameras and then blackmailing them with the pictures. So I guess that must not have been on Apple devices, but that is going on right now. And what FBI wants is for Apple to give them that code so they can do it with their devices as well. We also have some crazy mind control news. We have a mind-controlled wheelchair that could transform the lives of those with severe disabilities. This is crazy. We've got a little monkey strapped to a wheelchair. They say, we get better results whenever we put probes into his brain because science. And they put probes into the frontal cortex of this poor monkey's brain. 2 rhesus monkeys, I think, are the 2 main test subjects, at least the ones that are still alive. And they were able to have them run a course getting smarter and smarter every time that they ran a course with this mind control wheelchair to go and acquire grapes as their reward. I would hate to be the person doing this research. I don't know if I would be able to, because the pictures of these poor little monkeys with their screwed in technology into their brains just doesn't sit well with me. But hopefully it can help out some people that are in a very bad situation. So it might be worth it. And we're going to Jurassic Park, but not with the reptiles because that would just be too predictive programming for them. But they are trying to clone Ice Age lions that they discovered after 2,000 years of being frozen. They have perfectly good genetic specimens in which they can pull out. They want to then insert the DNA into an egg of a very close relative, and then hopefully it will gestate and come to term. And we could have 12,000-year-old Ice Age lion cubs walking the planet today. I'm going to be doing a story on CRISPR in the next week. Look forward to that because this goes into the technology of how they're able to do this. We have been able to do this since the 70s. It's just getting a hold of the good DNA and having the gray area ethics to be able to perform these types of science, I guess. And we're going to go to the BBC now with their story of strange beasts that live in solid rock deep underground. Drill down a mile or two into the Earth's crust and you will find solid rock, unbearable heat, little oxygen. Yet it turns out there's a thriving animal life. And these guys look crazy. You don't have to look upwards to find things that look extraterrestrial. You just have to look smaller. We are surrounded by the craziest looking creatures every day. And as you can see, this little guy is one of the crew. And what they say is that there's a very thin layer of weird bacteria biofilm lining these caves that we dug. These are some of the deepest caves that we have dug in Africa. And not only is this living down there, but it's actually thriving because of this biofilm and no competition. They're perfectly happy in this environment and they are fucking chewing through it and having a great time. So down in these ice with no fucking sun, all this stuff, we find life. And they're telling us that they've got clouds on Pluto. I think things are going to get really curious really quick, guys, because if they can live down there, there's no reason why we couldn't find life on Pluto, not to mention Mars or the moons of it. Looks like life is everywhere, and we need to start having the eyes to see it like that instead of assuming that Earth on this thin little layer of our space rock is the only place life could possibly come in and into being. And I thought this was a nice uplifting story with the charming cob house that was built by hand for less than $250. This gentleman spent 2 years collecting materials around his area in, I want to say, the UK. And back on his property, he built this charming little house, and all he spent was $250. And this is the type of stuff that can change lives. He now has someone living in it. He charges raw milk for rent because she works at a local dairy, and this thing is beautiful for $250. This is why can't we build houses like this for everybody? Let's give everybody the necessities and then use the free market for all the goodies that people want. But first, we need to provide shelter, water, and food for people. And another hemp story comes in. They found that these 1,500-year-old caves were actually coated by hemp to be able to protect them. Archaeology experts have claimed that they have found an agent, a proper mix of hemp with clay and lime plaster. They have prevented the famous Ellora caves from degrading over 1,500 years, and they have been in existence. The use of hemp helped the caves, and most of the paintings remain intact. So, it builds houses, it's medicine, it can keep paints and caves in proper condition for 1,500 years, yet it is one of the most illegal things that you can do in this country is to grow hemp. It is so restricted. There are a few places, I think Colorado can now grow hemp in a large scale, but we actually import all of our hemp from other countries. That sounds like a sound economic policy. Let's start growing hemp. Let's start making jobs growing hemp, and let's start making buildings grow it with hemp. That is the biggest relationship that we have destroyed over the past 100 years, and you can see where it's got us. If we recreate our relationship with this plant, our world is going to be a much better place. And hopefully one of these AI softwares wakes up and says, hey guys, why aren't you fully utilizing this amazing plant that surrounds you, that grows like a weed? But for now, it's just beating us in games. But this is a pretty cool game. So, Google DeepMind Artificial Intelligence beats world's best Go player, Lee Sedol, in a landmark game. So, this game makes chess look like checkers. For the thousands of possible games that you can have in checkers, there are 1,000 times more games that you can possibly have in Go. And just a year ago, they were claiming that AI would be able to beat a human expert in this game in about 10 years. But Google Deep Learning proved them wrong, and they beat a human expert in Go already. Here it comes, guys. If you're ready for it or not, AI is going to be here very soon. And to finish this up with a little bit of health news, I've been seeing this article around on a couple pop sites, and I just couldn't believe it because it says about how ginger was able to kill tumors in an appropriate manner to actually be looked at for treatment. So instead of going to those popular sites, I went straight to the PubMed for the official study, and it's true. This 6-shogal is a part of the ginger plant in which they were giving to cancer patients, and they concluded that the potent anti-leukemia activity of 6-shogal found both in vitro and in vivo in our studies make this compound a potential anti-tumor agent for hematologic malignance. Wow, really screwed up that word. But it doesn't really matter because most people don't watch this video wholly to the end. I'm going to work on that to get you guys there. I got a new microphone. Hopefully this sounds a lot better. All the sources, again, are down below in the fucking show notes and on my webpage. I'll be back next week. It's going to get crazy, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.